Check. Check. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning so that we could celebrate the life of a beautiful soul who has been part of our spiritual family for so many years. So many of you have loved this man, have celebrated with this man, have sung with this man, and performed. And I know that all of you helped make who he was in this world. And so today we celebrate him, Ken Robuck. And so we're going to start our time together in a sacred manner. And I know Ken always appreciated this beautiful ritual of lighting the flames of faith. It is a ritual that we do to honor all paths, all spiritual journeys, all religions, all faiths, knowing that all these different paths are the many paths up the mountain. The one single mountain we know is oneness. So join me, if you will, as we perform the lighting of the flames of faith. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. And fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle of the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle of all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for universalistic religion of Baha'i, knowing the path of unity and peace. And we light the candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as Reverend Karen lights that last candle, let it represent the path that brought you here today. And so join me, if you will, for our form of prayer, spiritual mind treatment, as we open our time together. And so if you're comfortable, please close your eyes as I speak this word. I speak it on behalf of the one creative power. I know that power to be love and compassion, wholeness and oneness. I know that power to be all things as it expresses itself through life, as it expresses itself by means of each one here, as it so powerfully expressed itself as can and still does in another form. I know that as we move through our time together, we hold Ken and Barbara in our hearts. We know that while we can't see Ken, he lives on in our love. He lives on in our hearts. He lives on in the music and the memories. And so today, as we come together to celebrate this beautiful soul, let us be present. Let us feel our feelings. Let us grieve and let us celebrate at the same time. For we are indeed one, and there is nothing that can change that. So it is with deep gratitude in my heart for all that each one brings, for all that Ken brought to our spiritual family, for all that Barbara continues to bring to our spiritual family. We simply anchor this prayer in that beautiful love, the love we have for spirit, the love we have for one another, the love we still have for Ken, as we say together, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Alice, and welcome everyone that is here. I know, loving on Kenny, as I like to call him. We're going to invite Jimmy and Chelsea and Rick on up. And this was a song that actually I did not know until Ken introduced it to me, Me Miss Classical, right? So this is an Oak Ridge Boys tune. And I go, oh my gosh, that's such a fun song. And it was one of his favorites that we had done through the years. So Wade, Chelsea is singing your part today. And this is Angels Watching Over Me. So if you want to join in on the chorus, I know Ken will be dancing in his seat. And here we go. Well, it's all right all day, angels watching over me, my Lord. Well, it's all right all day, angels watching over me. Well, it's all night, all day, angels watching over me, my Lord. Well, it's all night, all day, angels watching over me. Angels watching over me, my Lord.
My soul got happy, stayed all day.
Angels watching over me. Well, it's all night, all day. Angels watching over me, my Lord. Well, it's all night, all day. Angels watching over me. Angels watching over me, my Lord.
I call on God to see me through.
Angels watching over me. Well, it's all night, all day. Angels watching over me, my Lord. Well, it's all night, all day. Angels watching over me.
Now if you get there before I do,
Angels watching over me, my Lord.
tell all my friends I'm a-coming too.
Angels watching over me.
Well, it's
All night, all day. Angels watching over me, my Lord.
it's
All night, all day. Angels watching over me.
well, it's
All night, all day. Angels watching over me, my Lord.
well, it's
All night, all day.
so much. That lifted us up, didn't it? Yes, thank you. I'm wearing this in honor of Ken. He liked purple. It's the first time I got to wear it. I've had it for 20 years, and it was a perfect occasion. Perfect. Wonderful to see you all here. So we are here today on purpose. We are here to honor the life and the passing of Kenneth Eugene Robuck, a husband to his beloved Barbara, a loving father to Rick and Kendall Lee, and grandfather to Margot. He was also a good friend to all of us that knew him. He was thoughtful, kind, and caring. What we do here today is important. Not only can we pay our respects to Ken, but more importantly, we can also celebrate the life that he had by celebrating his full and impactful life that he led. Ken was born in Kansas on March 26th of 1942. And in 1970, he received his bachelor's degree from Wichita State University. After that, he joined the Air Force and was also in the Naval Reserves. Ken was an animal lover, and while he was in the military, one of his jobs was a dog handler. Ken's daughter, Kendall Lee, wanted to share a few words with you about her dad, and she and her daughter were unable to attend today, so here is a short video from Kendall Lee.
I'm Kendall Lee Pernin, Ken's daughter. I wanted to share this message to acknowledge all of you, his spiritual community. My relationship with Ken did not start off well, and things were said and done that led him to give me up for adoption to my stepfather when I was 6. After I turned 18, Ken tried to be a part of my life, and it was awkward at best. When I was in my late 20s, Ken invited me to visit him in California for a few days. I accepted, and he owned what had happened when I was a young child and asked for my forgiveness. I never thought that was going to happen. I am certain that his participation in this community gave him the strength and courage to take that step. Thank you for being a place of unconditional love and light so Ken could see his authentic self. My child and I were able to have a relationship with Ken that probably wouldn't have happened if he hadn't learned to forgive himself. Thank you for the love and support you have given Barbara these past few months as Ken made his transition. Please keep sharing your light in the world. It is in desperate need of right now. I'm at peace with Ken's transition because we were complete with each other. That is something I do not take for granted. I know today is about honoring Ken, and I'm honoring him by honoring you. Thank you for the difference you made in his life because it made a difference in mine. May you go in peace, love, and light.
Thank you, Kendall Lee. Thank you. Ken was a lover of music, all kinds, and he sang in our choir for over 31 years. He and Barbara met each other when they were both in the church choir together, and then they married in 1994, 31 years ago. Ken was also a lover of sports. For many years, he served as a softball umpire, and he was coach of the girls' softball team for years. Ken had heart surgery in January of this year and made his transition on March the 5th. That was due to medical complications. Barbara was by his side, loving him, caring for him until he passed. Today, we honor the memory of Ken and remember the many ways that his life, in all its uniqueness, made our lives better, fuller, and more joyful. We can indeed grow from this experience and learn about life by looking at Ken's life. We can release Ken, letting him go, while remaining to remember the wonderful memories we have with him. The real opportunity for us today is to move into appreciation and celebration of the life of Ken. It's a chance for us to bless his transition from this world, even as we mourn it. And in doing so, we add our energy of love and appreciation and send Ken forward into an even greater expression of life than he had here on earth. These feelings express and honor the depth of caring that you felt and continue to feel for Ken. This is all part of the healthy process of grieving. We all know that the depth of your love will be the measure of the depth of your grief. I am guessing that those of us in this room today that knew him loved and cared for Ken as he did for us. And that the good news is that the difficult part is that our grief will be as deep as the love that we had for each other. Just as the bend in the river does not mean that the river ceases to flow beyond what we can see, so we realize that life does not begin with a person's arrival here on earth, nor does it end when departing from it. Life is a continuum, and in this time of celebration of life, we honor the ongoing soul and remembering his experience of learning and growing in this human existence. When people leave us, the essence of who they are always remain in our hearts. That this memory is one of inspiration and one of beauty and one of peace. Let us join in this tribute, not with a sense of loss, but knowing that out of this experience comes something very precious to each one of us. And that this experience today be a guiding star and a promise. Let today serve to us to remind us that life is to be lived. Life is to be celebrated. And so today we celebrate Ken's expression of life as he moves on to his next great experience. Now we'll have a slideshow.
And if the world were perfect, we would have a slideshow. Chelsea and I spent time putting a slideshow together, pictures of Ken from different shows and different moments in his life with Barb, and we played it at home several times, and we tested it on a flash drive, and we tested it on my laptop, and then we brought it here, and it does not want to speak to the big system. So we're very sad, but there's always something we can do, right? So we're going to move forward with our service. There is a video clip that did transfer, so we're happy to share that. But the little slideshow, we're going to put it back here on a table, and you can see it on my little laptop later on. But I think it might be too small for you all to try to see from here. But while I have this moment, I just wanted to do a tiny share of my first meeting Ken when I came in to be part of your congregation as your music and choir director. And Ken always had something to say to me. Every rehearsal, every service, he always had something to share about something, and was always so enthusiastic about all types of music. And I loved that about him. And he had some classical piano training, so he'd like play something every once in a while, and we'd talk about music. But there were three things that Ken did above and beyond being part of the choir and his wonderful sense of humor and singing for us. And that was when I needed to have some kind of platforms built for one of our extravaganzas we were doing. And we just had the hard risers that were a little treacherous to stand on because there's no back to them. And I said, can we just build platforms? And he did. He got the lumber. He built, and those suckers were strong and heavy, and they've lasted a long time. And we used them for many performances and services. And so he did that just out of the goodness of his heart, built those things. And I don't know if they're still here or not. But anyway, they lasted a long time. And then for one of our other shows, I said, I wish we had a movie screen, because I wanted it to be a movie review type of a show. And he built that, I don't know if you remember, it was there for a long time post our show, that big white screen where we projected things on for months and years afterwards. He built that whole thing with help, I think, from Harry Musey. And so anyway, he did that. And then another time I needed a little baffle for the drum set, and he built that. So it's like, thank you, Ken. He was just so willing to share his gifts, all of his gifts, in so many beautiful ways. And I just feel him right here, and he's doing his little two-step dance that he knows how to do, and just so grateful to see all these wonderful people here. So we're going to go to now the, we're going to do a clip that we do have that is able to play. This was like Ken's theme song from our little old Opry show, and it was, "Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble." And it was so cute. He did a really good introduction. I don't think it comes out as clear on the video, but he says that actually the lyrics are in line with Center for Spiritual Living and Ernest Holmes because we're perfect in every way. And that's Ken's thought process when he's singing this song and sharing it, in the show and with us. So fingers crossed that this clip works. Then at the end of this little clip, we're going to sing it. Is it there? It's there. Okay.
Because all you've been here before, I understand that Reverend Heather is constantly telling us we are whole, complete, and perfect. And this song, we've decided that this mantra needs a theme song. So here we go. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble. In every way, I can't wait to look in the mirror. 'Cause I get there looking each day. To know me is to love me. I must be a hell of a man. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can. To know me is to love me. I must be a hell of a man. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can. We're doing the best that we
Our turn to sing along. You can substitute any word you want, but here's the gist of it. Here we go. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. I can't wait to look in the mirror, 'cause I get better looking each day. To know me is to love me. I must be a hell of a man. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing the best that I can.
You sounded wonderful. Great. Thank you so much for bringing that clip forward, Diane. That was wonderful. And be sure to look at the video on the laptop. Things happen. Technology, don't you love it? Yes. So we've heard from all the great spiritual leaders and teachers that life is eternal and that death is but an illusion, passing just from one state and of sharing, of love and growth, where we continue to live and move and have our being in that all-knowing, all-loving presence of God. Each of us here today are here because in some way, great or small, for some length of time, long or short, Ken brought something of value unto our lives. Something good happened to every person because you knew him. I'm not merely saying that he lives on in memory, although that is true. I'm saying there is something much more than that. He lives on as a part of you, finding expression in some part of yourself, your thoughts, your words, or your actions. And so we are here today to celebrate Ken's life, not to mourn his death, and to commit ourselves to honor the good that we received by our association with him, by honoring the life in this world that is left to us, each one of us. Today we have the opportunity to find the meaning in that Ken's life held. The value of any human life cannot be measured in terms of accomplishments, status, or other achievements, but simply by the love and the great respect that life kindles in the hearts of the family and friends. For in each person's life there must be purpose. In every life, there is a reason for being. While that reason may not always be obvious, it is a truth that that reason does exist in each one of us. And so we can know that here today that Ken has fulfilled his reason for being here on this planet with us. So now I'd like to invite the family and friends to share a remembrance that you have with Ken. But I want to start. So whenever Ken had a physical challenge or something throughout the years, he would call me to be his practitioner. I felt very honored for that. And during those times that we were together, we had a deeper relationship. I got to know him at a deeper level and some of the ups and downs of his life's journey. But it was always such a tender and wonderful relationship that I had with him. And he was the sweetest man. Every time we saw him, he'd come up to my mom and I, and with his arms wide open, and give us just big, warm, and lovely hugs. So I will miss those. I will miss Ken, but I know that he's right here with us. So I'd like to invite anyone up who would like to share a remembrance of Ken. I can bring the mic to you if you wanted to share from your seat. Thank you, Karen.
So I've known Ken for about 27 years. When I came to this center, I joined the choir, and he just welcomed me with open arms. Ken and I shared both the love of music as well as the love of softball. We used to have great conversations. But most of all, he felt like kind of like a father figure where, every time he came up, he was protecting me. He was making sure that I was okay, and always just such a sweet and dear man. So, love you and miss you.
I will miss Ken too. He always reminded me, this will probably surprise you, but he reminded me of my father, because my father was always at church, but when I would walk into this church or the other place. I would look for Ken because I knew that I would get a hug and that I was loved. And I just felt that he was like, and Barbara is like my chosen sister. And so I would spend some times at their homes, and we always had lots of laughs, or the four of us would go out for pie or coffee just to do that. And he would entertain us, and it would be so much fun, just so much fun.
I'll be the runner with the mic so that you can just stand in your seat. But I want to just share with you, I've been the spiritual leader here for the last 3.5 years, so I feel a little cheated when I hear all the beautiful stories about Ken, because I did not have the opportunity to be with him as long as you did. But what I will tell you is whoever took this photograph, that sparkle, it's a little mischievous. It's a little fun-loving. And yet there's this deep depth there. And I can tell you that after almost every single one of my talks, he would come up to me and he would find some inquiry, something to take it a little deeper, some question to make me pause and think. And I appreciated that bright mind of his that was always shining, and I will miss it greatly. Thank you. Do you want?
You all are my tribe, and you were all so Ken's tribe, although he had umpires that he had. And some of you know the story, but the music that we shared was just so special. And it was 31 years ago that the choir at the former building was singing a song called The Pockabell in the Round. And he was actually looking for somebody, and a lady at work said, my boyfriend's bigger than you, but if you want to meet some nice ladies, go to this church I go to. Well, he did, and he drove around the building and then didn't come in because Joyce Stone and I, and some of you know Joyce, we were at a holistic nurse conference, and we were praying for the perfect mate. Within a month, Joyce met Jean, and I met Ken. He showed up the next week. And back in those days, we gave carnations to visitors. So I'm part of the welcome committee. I'm walking up to everybody and saying, how did you find us? I thought, be a wife and a kid with him. He showed up at choir the next night, and the rest is history. He tripped me on the way out the door, and we went to coffee, and we decided, this is going to work. And so we took it very slowly, and a year later, we were married by Dr. Jackie. And the music with Diane and Judy Powell has always been the tie that had us together. And actually, I'm looking forward to playing the CDs. There's some extra in the lobby for the celebration choir that we sang. But it was such a joy. And I know that it's hard to be in this space alone, but because my biological families and my sister don't live near me, most of you, many of you, have been what I have phrased my siblings of choice, so I have a big family. And I'm so glad that my sister and her husband were able to come and join us for this event. It's very special. So I thank you all for all that you've done to bring this service together and honor him in this way. He would be so honored. And I bless you. Namaste. Thank you.
I saw a hand over here.
Ken and I were the same age. I'm a month older. We're a couple of good old boys from the Midwest. Kenny was from Kansas. I was from Iowa. So we shared a lot of the same things. He was tall, I was tall. We were both incredibly good looking. You're laughing. You're laughing. We shared horses. We both loved horses. I was in the horse business as a young man. He was in horses. We shared sports, particularly baseball. We shared the military. We talked a lot about our experiences in the military. A lot of this sharing and bonding happened in the bass section of the choir. Now, at that time, we had this woman who was the director. We were well ahead of our time. And she would get annoyed with us. So Ken and I would have to be in timeout. But we really had a connection. I think it all started way back in the Midwest. And I will miss Kenny very much. Thank you.
Anybody else want to share a memory? All right, Patrick, I'll come back to you. Pray there's no feedback back here.
So Ken and I shared, when I showed up here in like 91, he was thrilled. He says, are you a tenor or a bass? I said, well, I could do both, but probably a tenor. And we shared love of music, and especially folk music. That's kind of my specialty. But we had spent, we'd both spent quite a bit of time in the military. And we had, we could share stories that most people don't want to hear about, right? But he was a great guy. I mean, that's what you would have to say. Ken was a great guy. He fulfills the requirements of being a great guy. And I'm sure he's smiling down on us right now, probably not wearing a tie, and just enjoying this.
Thank you. Anybody else? I see some hands somewhere, but oh, thank you. All right, you're getting a lot of practice turning your head.
Okay, well, I'll come to the front so nobody has to get a neck ache. So all of the things you guys have mentioned so far, I also enjoyed. I was a fairly new member of the choir, and he was one of the most friendly guys, and he welcomed me, and he made me feel like I belonged in this group that had been very tight for many years. And if you're the newcomer in a tight group, you look for one person. It only takes one person to make you feel welcome. And he was so beautiful and wonderful. But my experience with Ken is probably unusual. We had one thing in common, our dentures. And he was trying to find the best denture glue. And so we had a lot of fun with that. I brought him one. I said, this is the best for me. And he said, well, what do you do? And so that's a connection. Very intimate connection. And I loved that because I'm fairly young to have dentures. And so when I knew he had them, oh, it was wonderful. He was handsome. He had a beautiful smile. And I don't want to get emotional, but such a loving, loving, loving person. So open. And when you're a newbie in a tight group, I needed Ken, and he was there for me. And I love him, and I love Barbara so much. And I'll miss him. Thank you.
Anybody else? A little more sugar here.
What everyone said so far is true for me. Ken, I always look for Ken because he gave me this wonderful warm hug. But what we shared together was he loved signing, and somewhere he had gone and learned signage, and I was really interested in it too. And so I always loved it when he was asked for to do it for one of our choir songs. He was asked to sign, and anyway, he was so special, and he lit up the room, right? So I'm complete.
Such beautiful memories of such a beautiful person. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. There will be some time to share with one another as we fellowship.
Check, there I am. We have a song, so I'm going to invite Jimmy, Chelsea, Karen, and Rick up. And this was one of our anthems, as one of our a couple of times, I think, in choir or for a Sunday service that we did that Kenny really loved. So if you know it and you want to sing along, please join us. We're going to start with Jimmy and Chelsea.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. As the end of the storm is a golden sky, and the sweet silver song of a lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on, with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on, with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk
Oh, that was so beautiful. In closing, I'd like to share a poem from Jalaluddin Rumi, the 13th century Sufi poet. For what is it to die but to stand naked in the wind and melt into the sun? And what is it to cease breathing but to free the breath from the restless tides that may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence can you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then you shall truly dance forever and ever. This concludes our memorial service for Ken Robuck. My name is Judy Chapman, if you don't know who I am. And it has been my honor, such an honor to officiate this wonderful celebration of life. And I want to thank Diane and Jimmy and Chelsea and Reverend Karen and Rick for the beautiful music. It's so special. Thank you so much. And please stay for our reception. Thank you.